In 2010, Fujifilm opened the church doors and the Messiah, the Fujifilm X100, arrived into the photography world, and it attracts photographers from all over the world of every different kind of industry, everybody just wanting this premium compact camera. 4 iterations later, they still continue to dominate the world, and in 2020, we finally have the 5th coming, the Fujifilm X100V. And let's see what it's all about. To help support our channel, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button so we can keep making fresh content for y'all. In today's Fujifilm X100V video, we're going to be looking at the brand new changes in the external and the internal hardware, and then we're going to take it out for a little field test to see how the X100V stacks up. So today's X100V unit that we have for testing today is a pre-production model, so the sample images that we're sharing today may not be the final result. Now, to kick off the external differences of the X100V, you'll notice that it looks basically identical to any other X100 that was released over the last few years. However, don't let that deceive you because there are some pretty big changes in the X100V's externals. First off, the top and bottom now sports an aluminium construction, so it feels a lot more premium in your hands. At the top, there is now a dedicated ISO dial, which thank the Lord, because the ISO dial can just be flicked up and you can easily change it throughout its full range. At the back of the camera, you have now a 2-way tilt screen. The 2-way tilt screen makes it super handy for anyone that does food photography, street photography, landscape photography, basically anyone that wants a unique perspective and doesn't want to awkwardly shoot it in a weird way. The screen will help a lot with that. Now, a person like me who wears glasses and tends to knock out the diopter a lot, the diopter is now recessed in the X100V, so it's really hard to knock it out of place, which I find really good to have. And then you've got the brand new lens construction. So the lens at the front does sport a brand new redesigned 23mm f2 that is said to basically help with distortion and aberrations, but also when adapted with the AR X100 adapter at the front, it makes the camera weather sealed. Now, as the unit as it is, if we walk out to the rain today, it is not weather sealed, and you do require that adapter to make it weather sealed. Finally, the X100V sports a brand new viewfinder with the advanced hybrid viewfinder. Basically, this will allow you to simultaneously use the OVF and the EVF at the same time, and this comes in handy when you're doing manual focus. So when you're focusing using the ring in optical viewfinder mode, there's a little EVF at the bottom which basically zooms in on the subject that you're focusing, just so you can know that it's in pinpoint focus. Also, like any other X100 series, you can swap it between completely OVF or completely EVF by flicking the switch to the right. And just things are similar with the X100V and the older cameras. You do have your nice set of ports. There's a microphone port, there's a USB-C port for you to charge your camera internally, but also transfer your photos at a fast rate. And you also have a HDMI port for output too. At the bottom, you have a MPW126 battery, which is the same battery that is used in their flagship models such as the X Pro 3 and the XT3, which means you're gonna get a decent amount of shots out of the camera before it dies. So if you've been watching our YouTube since literally the beginning of our time, we did an X100 video, which I think it was the X100F? X100T. It was an X100 video, but basically it's the same conditions. It was pouring down rain, and we haven't had rain in Sydney for such a long time, and today it is absolutely pelting down. And I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the same outfit from that video too. So X100 brings rain, dude. So internally, the Fujifilm X100V sports a 26.1 megapixel backside illuminated CMOS sensor combined with an X processor 4. So working with these two elements together, you not only get high resolution imagery, but you can record 4K video up to 30 frames per second, Full HD video up to 60 frames per second, and when outputted externally via HDMI, you can record in 10-bit, which is absolutely fantastic. However, there isn't really any slow motion capabilities in the X100V, which a lot of cameras around this price point, or even compact cameras below this, do have. It does miss out on that a bit. The X100V isn't made primarily for video, and it's definitely targeted more at the photo realm. Speaking of photo capabilities, the X100V does sport an ISO range of 160 to 12,800, and it can shoot continuously up to 11 frames per second. There's been an overhaul on the autofocus unit on the inside of the X100V too, now sporting a 425-point AF phase detection system. It's going to give you consistent tracking results, which makes it really, really good for street photography, which is what we're going to do right now. So now to talk about the samples that we shot with the Fujifilm X100V. Today, all the shots that I shot on were shot on Classic Chrome, which is my favorite film simulation by Fujifilm. And we did a variety of video and photo tests. So in terms of photo, you still get the same color science and high resolution imagery that you would expect from the X100 series. And with that brand new 26.1 megapixel sensor, it really looks highly detailed. And I really wish I could test out the RAWs. Unfortunately, at this point in time, there is no RAW support for the X100V. So all the images you have in front of you are JPEGs, and they do look quite good straight out of camera. Now, in terms of video, the video quality does look good. Now, just a note, the X100 series has never been known to be a video camera. It just has video as a function, and we feel that the video in the X100 is quite good. Now, the autofocus is decent too in continuous. However, if you are doing the facial eye detect features, it is a bit slow. However, in a scenario like we did today, which you will see in a second, where we've just got it on a tripod and I'm speaking to the camera, the autofocus works really well. But if you're out on the field trying to do a vlog, it may not keep up with you, as there may be too much going on for the camera to keep up with. So X100V user experience. The addition of the ISO dial, I actually love so much, because when you're on the field, you don't want to be fiddling through menus just to get to a very important feature such as the ISO, and having that dial at the top here, like the rest of the Fuji range, makes it so quick and easy to change. Now the ISO dial has a different resistance to the aperture as well as the shutter. It doesn't click, it actually rolls through really smooth, which some people initially might think it's a bit weird or might take a bit of time to get used to, but once you do, it's so fast for you to just jump from the lower end of the spectrum up to the top end of the ISO spectrum really seamlessly. So I think this is a really good update for the X100. Now, one of the things initially the X100 had problems with was autofocus. It was quite slow. The X100V is definitely a lot better in autofocus. It's very similar to what you'd get out of the flagship series, such as the XT or the X Pro series. I was shooting indoors in a low light environment just then, as well as some shots outdoors here, and it was snappy and it was getting all the shots I wanted. In terms of the screen is very handy. For a street photographer who likes to shoot from the hip, this is extremely handy to have. And also, I guess if you like shooting food and you do flat lays or shoot top down, this makes it a very decent upgrade for the X100V. Now, this all sounds good. The external upgrades are great. The internal upgrades are great. There's just one thing about the X100V that might hold back a lot of people, and it's the Australian price tag. So for the rest of the video, we're moving the video footage onto the X100V. Now, in all seriousness, the price tag is quite high. $2249 for a compact camera sounds like a lot of money, considering that you're stuck with the same lens and the same system. Now, the Fujifilm X100 series hasn't always been the cheapest. It's been a premium compact camera, and a lot of people love it for that. It's got great high resolution imagery and high performance that you would expect from a flagship camera in a compact camera. The X100 series has always been lightweight, has always been favored among a lot of the photography community for its performance, portability, And people just love it, having it as a B camera to take with them on their trips, or just a good throw around camera that not only boasts the portability of a compact camera, but gives you the performance of a big DSLR or a mirrorless camera. Now, if it's worth the money, it definitely is, I feel, for some people, because what they've taken is the X100 formula and added some very, very good upgrades to the X100V. The tilt screen makes a big difference. The ergonomics of the ISO dial and every other little bit of detail that they've added to the construction of the camera makes it feel a lot more premium, and the performance is fantastic. If you enjoy the performance of the XT series and the X Pro series, then the X100 will give you something very close to that. So it may not be the camera for everyone, but if you're a photographer enthusiast looking for a throw around compact camera, or just a good compact camera to have with you everywhere, then we highly recommend the X100V. Thanks for watching our video. Make sure to check out our next one.